All right, fertile blessings. As I said, I would shoot another one while I'm leaving 9 rounds. Kickboxing, heading, what I normally do, again, heading over to Planet Fitness now. I do about 40 to 45 minutes of weights. And then lunchtime, baby, lunchtime. Yeah, I usually don't eat until most days, like 3-4 days a week. I usually don't eat till later in the afternoon, and then something 6 hours after that. I don't try to eat too much on them days. Now when I'm working, we're doing super strenuous activity, I might eat a little more. Anyway, all right, so real quick, for those that want to reach out to me again, I'll do this in the beginning of every video, that are interested in signing up for classes. I always get emails all the time. What classes do you offer? How can I sign up for your classes? Patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. That's the official Primordial Chaos Patreon page. Tier 3 is the tier you want to join. That will give you access to the 3 private monthly classes I do every month for Patreon members only, plus the group ritual we do together at the end of the month. Again, that's patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. If you're interested in a spiritual consultation or a reading, offer various different readings, telepathic, demonic readings, shadow work readings, which again, that's a great place to start if you're looking for a sense of direction. What kind of ritual work should I be doing? What direction should I be heading in? What's going on in my life? What type of traumas am I harboring and carrying? All those things. Deity readings to identify what spirits and energies walk with you. Santa Muerte readings for a full list of readings and information on consultations. Send me an email at khnum19@gmail.com. And again, everything is in the description box of the videos here. Okay? All right. So what I want to kind of focus on in this video, as I mentioned in the previous video, we talked about vampire magic and kind of went over the key components of that. What is a real Luciferian? Okay? What is a real Luciferian? Another path and another term that's gotten spooked the fuck out. Okay? So let's first of all, let's just address all the spookism, the foolishness, and the nonsense. You know, you have a lot of people that run around that feed off of conspiracy theories and sensationalism. They talk about the Illuminati. They talk about Luciferians and individuals that run around trying to control the world. They believe that all these high-level entertainers belong to these secret societies and Illuminati orders, etc., etc. There's shit all over the internet and YouTube. Okay, let me stress a few things. First of all, anybody that's making claims that they know those things about the Illuminati and these so-called secret orders, how do they know this other than hearsay, what they've read on the internet, and what other systems of conspiracy theories other people fed them? Okay, first, that concept of the Illuminati, has history dictated that through history there's been a group of wealthy people under the auspices of Masonry, aka the Illuminati, that have tried or are trying to control the wealth and the resources on the planet? Yes, that does exist, but that's not the branch of Illuminati or Luciferian that we're talking about on the path of the occult, or the left-hand path. First of all, that conspiracy theory, controlling the world, all that comes from the formulation of the Illuminati under an individual called Adam Weishaupt, who was from Germany. And a lot of these individuals came through the Masonic Lodge. So Masonry, unfortunately, which is wrong, all aspects of Masonry to the ignorant get connected to this branch of the occult or the Illuminati and Masonry. And I'm going to do some videos on Masonry too. All right. So when you get into people like the Weishaupts, the Rothschilds, and all those wealthy individuals, yes, that history and a lot of those theories that are put out there, but some are fucking taken to next level spooky, that does exist. But on the occult and the left-hand path, we're not talking about that branch or that aspect of what a Luciferian is or what Illuminati is. Let's first break down the words real quick. First of all, the words Luciferian and Illuminatis or Illuminati, a lot of these terms come from the Latin and the Greek. In Lucifer and Illuminati, the word Illuminati comes from the word we know in English, illuminating, right? Sons of the illuminating or daughters of the illuminating ones, right? The illumination or the illuminating represents knowledge and intellect, being raised to a certain state of consciousness and awareness, all right? Lucifer, or the word Lucifer, which has also connection to the word Luciferian, and the word Luciferian and Lucifer, which means light bearer, right? Going back and understanding the meaning of what this term means. Why is Lucifer, who some will refer to as the devil, Satan, and all these other terminology, and they're just titles, by the way, keep that in mind. Why is he referred to as the light bearer? And why is he the focal point of Luciferian practice? Because Lucifer represents the embodiment of light and darkness simultaneously, which a Luciferian seeks after to harmonize themselves on all levels, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially. That's why I came up with the 5 points of self-mastery on with the pentagram and Baphomet. Okay? So a Luciferian is constantly seeking illumination or knowledge or light or intellect. And Lucifer embodies dark consciousness, which in order to obtain real light or intellect, one has to go into the darkness to obtain it. Okay? So not only does he deal with mastering the dark side of our nature, the shadow self, the hidden self, he also deals with harmonization of those light frequencies or lighter energies or lighter philosophies. Because a true Luciferian understands that you need the harmonization of light and darkness to truly master yourself, which takes us to another Greek word that you will see used in the occult and left-hand path affiliated with Luciferian practice is the word apotheosis, which is self-mastery or self-deification. How can you self-deify yourself? What does that mean? Okay? Self-deification means you accept and recognize yourself as the highest form of deity on this path of spirituality because you understand everything comes from you. All things emerge from within, regardless if some of those experiences are perceived as external. So self-deity really equates to self-mastery. A Luciferian bows down to no God besides themselves. The highest God they honor and acknowledge is themselves. They realize the God or the goddess they've been looking for since day one. They were looking at that individual every morning in the mirror. So Luciferian practice teaches you not to look outside of yourself or somewhere way out there in the clouds. Luciferian practices doesn't accept a slave master, slave mentality deity or God. A Luciferian doesn't worship anything. Okay? When a true Luciferian is practicing true illumination and self-mastery. Okay? Now, the question comes up. Do some Luciferians or people that practice Luciferian spirituality, do they look at Lucifer, and I'm going to be clear how I'm touching this. I've touched on this in the past. Does a Luciferian look at Lucifer as a literal deity or being? Again, like I said with vampirism in the last video, there's different concepts and methodology of Luciferian philosophy and spiritual practice. Okay? I would always encourage, whether it's this path or others, you do research, read a variety of information on that, and then you choose and pick what, again, suits your spiritual practice. Okay? So having said that, one, I can only share with you and expound on the aspect of Luciferian philosophy and spirituality that I practice. It's all I can do. And I'm not saying that my approach on Luciferian practice is the approach of all approaches. I just want to make that clear. But I can only share with you what I do and what works for me. Now, you will find in Luciferian philosophy, there are some Luciferians, for an example, like Mark Simon Alvarez, who is an author and has written several books on Luciferian practice. One of his main focuses, obviously he grew up in a strict Catholic Christian household. So he really approaches Luciferian philosophy by disseminating and destroying the disease of monotheistic religions, and how, drawing from his Luciferian practice, how he was able to do that. That's one method. Some do look at Lucifer literally as some type of entity, deity, or being. There's that approach. Then there's the approach that I kind of come from. I believe with all deity and spirits, and I say believe based on my experiences, not on some mythological bullshit or some theory. I find in my practice, you will manifest these deities and spirits. They will take shape and form the way you need to see them, based on, as I've said in the past, the things you've absorbed and stamped in your subconscious mind. So if you've gazed upon imagery of Lucifer, different artwork, images, you've programmed your mind with certain concepts and ideologies, that's all given shape, life, form, and void to the manifestation of how you're going to see the spirit or the deity, in this case Lucifer. I believe it's a combination of both. I do believe people have their own personal manifestations in connection with the spirit, but I also do, there's also a lot of symbolicism there. There's also a lot of representation and breakdowns of esoterical and hidden sciences. There's metaphorical and allegorical understanding of what Lucifer represents. And we do understand there's different manifestations of Lucifer in the many masks that he represents, and the masks of the adversary. So I think it's a combination of both. And I say again, I think based on my personal experience, that's all I can share with you. Now, there could be people listening to this video, you may totally disagree with that, and you're entitled to that. I can only share with you what has worked for me and what I've come to in my study and my research. But I can tell you what it's not. It's none of that bullshit I was saying in the beginning of the video. Okay? All that spooky shit. Conspiracy theory people that Beyonce and Jay-Z and entertainers this. Yeah, do entertainers belong to some of these secret societies where they do some of this crazy shit? Yeah, there's stuff out there that exists like that. For whatever foolish reasons, is there any truth to them selling their soul? This and that? According to what some people report. But the aspect of the Luciferian practice that I'm talking about has nothing to do with that. Now, let me make this clear for all the fucking doubters so they can shut the fuck up and basically kiss my ass, because I'm also speaking this from being a Mason, number one. I'm also speaking this for, in the temple degrees, reaching the order of Illuminati. Okay? And I can tell you all that shit you hear about Masonry and the Illuminati is a bunch of bullshit. Not in real Masonry or real Luciferian practice and philosophy. I heard they do this. I heard they sacrifice human beings. I heard they do that. I heard they do these weird, bizarre sex rituals. All fucked up people out there exist, started this? Yeah, just like during the Satanic Panic. You had people that took satanic philosophy and ran with it and did stupidity. I'm not saying it doesn't exist to a degree, but I'm also making it clear that's not what this represents as a whole. I have to make that clear. And for anybody that begs to differ, I'm saying this as a Mason, a Shriner, and an Illuminatus. Okay? I've spent many years in them orders, and none of that shit you guys are talking about did I ever encounter, cross, or exist. And some of you say, well, he's just saying that. He's just making it up. No, it's not, because I'd be out of that shit if I encountered any of that shit. Okay? Now, again, you don't have to believe that, but I'm still going to stand firm on my statement. All of that is bullshit. It creates fear in people. It scares people from seeking the truth because it leaves a bad taste in their mouth and it stabs in their subconscious mind. All that spooky, fearful shit. And it's completely incorrect. I just want to make that clear. And if you're making statements that stuff on that level, that you're making a statement like that's real, my first question I do is I test people. Were you in the Masonic Lodge? No. Okay. If you were, what degree? I might go to testing you on the signs and the grips and asking you questions to see if you're bullshitting or not. Because there's a lot of people that read the Duncan's Ritual Monitor and other books on masonry, walking around faking the funk and pretending they're a mason and this and that. I'm going to put you to the test if you do say you are. But if you're not, how the fuck do you know all that stuff really takes place or transpires? How do you know Jay-Z and Beyonce are in the Illuminati? Other than what you read in some other, or saw on some other platform on YouTube, some conspiracy theory that feeded off your emotions, how do you really know? Did you sit in Illuminati meetings and Luciferian meetings? Were you there a lot? Did you see it with your own eyes? And don't give me the shit, well, I know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. Look, if you don't have any experience with it, just keep quiet. And just say you got sucked into the conspiracy theory. Okay? That's it. And just keep it moving and move on. Shit needs to be addressed because, again, there's a lot of bullshit out here. There's a lot of people who put videos out on shit that they don't know nothing about. And they won't tell you that because they're too busy faking the funk like they so deep and they know everything. And some of them got so much fucking ego that they got too much ego to just sometimes say they don't know. Okay, that's what I call moosing. When you don't know and you just making shit up or you just throwing shit out there, pretending like you know what you're talking about, you moosing, dude. Well, not just dudes, females too. You got some females out here too on YouTube moosing, pretending they know about topics that they don't know about. So it's two ways. Just don't talk about the shit, leave it alone if you don't know about it. Or sometimes when they come up, just say you don't know. There ain't nothing wrong with saying you don't know. Shit, many times people will come at me with something. If I don't know, I don't know. Hey man, did you read this book? I don't know, I didn't read the book. I'm not gonna sit there fake the funk and moose and pretend like I know what I'm talking about. But long story short, to bring the rest of this video to a conclusion, as I only have a couple more minutes and I'm getting close to my destination. Quite simply, what a real Luciferian is, let's sum it up, is an individual that's practicing a path of self-mastery. An individual that practices high forms of witchcraft, magic, alchemy. Alchemy is real big in Luciferian philosophy and practice, and overall has embraced the path of apotheosis, self-mastery, self-deification. It's an individual who has made the decision that I want to take control of my destiny. I want to be spiritually liberated and free from all that oppression and mental indoctrination. I'm going to make the choices that shape my spiritual path and my destiny. It's that simple. You've taken the initiative to say, I'm walking this path of self-mastery or apotheosis. Okay? I'm not going to be looking for the answers to life questions in monotheism anymore. I'm not putting my soul in the hands of some spook god that exists somewhere out there in the clouds, right? Most Luciferians have come to this path because they expounded every other method in their search for truth. Or they weren't getting their answers, their questions answered in other systems. Or they started to outgrow and outthink the ideology of some of the dogmas, philosophies, and systems they used to be a part of. Only gods and goddesses enter the Luciferian path. Okay? There's so much more to this. Again, these are just quick videos scratching the surface. But you ain't coming on this path if you're not a real god or goddess. And you won't last on this path if you're not a real god or goddess. And I want to be clear, when I'm using the term god or goddess, for maybe newer people that don't understand, get out of your mind. So you're saying you're equivalent to a god? Not in the definition of your spooky religious explanation of what god or goddess is. Hell no. When I'm saying I'm God, I'm not saying I'm God according to the monotheistic definition where there's greedy, jealous, narcissistic, controlling God has to always proclaim his greatness and always spew his toxic, I am the greatest God, have no other gods, but not that mythological bullshit, narcissistic, controlling entity or God of the Bible or monotheism. Absolutely not. My concept of when you hear me using that term is quite simple. A god or a goddess on the path of the occult, left-hand path, Luciferian practice, is an individual that has taken control and responsibility for their destiny, has taken the initiative and said, I'm not going to be a part of slave master indoctrination no more. I am my own God in the sense that I'm taking control in my life. That's what you're the God of. I want to make that clear. Of taking control of the things you're doing in your life. Okay? Because the question can come up. If you say you're a God and you don't know how to explain it, the God of who and what? Right? We know what the God of who and what is claiming to be of the Bible or the Quran. But if you're making that statement, this is why I always ask people over the years, if I run into you for the first time and you're new and I meet you for the first time, it's one of the questions I always ask you when you bring that up. What is being a god or a goddess to you? It's a very interesting question because I love the answers I get over the years. And I just want to make that clear. That's what being a god is to me. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay? Because some people use that term. They'll self-deify themselves, but still in a spooky, kind of fucked up way. And one of the goals on this path, especially Luciferian practice, we're trying to remove ourselves from all that kind of ideology, that mental programming and indoctrination. So again, being a Luciferian doesn't mean you're in a group that controls the whole world. I've seen stupid shit online where, and there's certain orders I belong to where people want to join because they say they want to become rich and famous and powerful. Man, listen, would you go suck a dick with that? I'm sorry, I just got to say it for what it is. Could you please stop approaching this path from a spooky mindset? Okay? Stop it. All that shit you read on the internet and hear on platforms, you're not going to become a Luciferian and join the Illuminati and become one of the richest, most powerful people in the world. Most of them got like that due to their business practices, whether they were shady or not, and connections and knowing people. But literally, there's people think, it's crazy. Look, let me leave you with this. Let me wrap this up because I got to get in here and finish my workout. I remember a couple of years ago in my Masonic lodge, we had this, we didn't see it till afterwards, and he wound up getting kicked out of the lodge. We had this spooky dude who went through one of the initiations, and I believe it was the entered apprentice degree, the first degree in the Blue House. And I remember after the degree, he was like, where's the being that comes from underneath the altar? Because in the Masonic lodge, on the degrees, they put the altar in the center, etc. And we're all looking at this dude like, what the fuck are you talking about? He was told that that we have a Baphomet deity, a demon spirit that comes from underneath the altar, and he manifests during the degrees. How crazy and bizarre this is. This is what sadly misinformed this brother was told. And everybody was just looking at this dude like, yo, like, what are you talking about, man? And it wound up eventually leading to him a short couple weeks after that. We had to ask him to leave the lodge because he was real spooky. He was really into conspiracy theories, which didn't show in his initial investigation and application process, which you can't catch everything. But this dude wasn't here for what an occultist, a Luciferian, anybody seeking light was for knowledge and intellect. So please, people, destroy, negate all of those spooky theories. Real simple. What a real Luciferian is somebody who's seeking illumination constantly, which is light and intellect. It's an individual, he or she, who has embraced the path of self-deification / self-mastery, has taken control of their destiny in their life, their spiritual sovereignty, their spiritual liberation, and they've embraced every aspect of themselves, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And they give themselves credit for their successes, but they also take responsibility for their actions and their failures. So there's no finger pointing and blame game on the path of Luciferian spirituality. It's all on you at the end of the day, period. Okay? It's that fucking simple. Now, I do offer on my Patreon, we have an ongoing Luciferian magic and self-mastery class, which we're, I think, on class 9. We're headed to class 9. A great class, and I'm showing you in that detailed class or series of classes ongoing how to master yourself using the Luciferian spiritual practices and magic. Again, if you're interested in taking any of my classes, patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. That's patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. Tier 3 is the way to go. Tier 3 will give you access to the 3 monthly classes I do privately on Patreon for Patreon members only, and the group monthly ritual we do together. That's patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, the official Primordial Chaos Patreon page. If you need to reach out to me for a reading or a consultation, shoot me an email at khnum19@gmail.com. Everything I'm saying is in the description box of all my YouTube videos. Don't forget to check out the Primordial Chaos 9 page on Instagram, all one word, Primordial Chaos 9. That's a great place to stay up to date with what I'm doing. Primordial Chaos, 2 words, on Facebook. And also for the latest happenings and updates, you could also look on the community section of my YouTube page, where I announce all classes and things that's going on. All right, I might shoot one more later. I'm not sure. This will be the second one for today. I might try to squeeze another one in. We'll see. We'll be going live probably, maybe later tonight or tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. But we'll see. Infernal blessings.